Happy Samhain, witches! I have been serving up astrology content all week. So far, I've talked about the sun in Scorpio and Capricorn, and also Scorpio and Libra rising. And now I'm going to talk about Pluto in Scorpio. I'm Pluto in Scorpio, as is my husband. And Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. And I like to think of it with the word revolution. So whatever sign Pluto's in, that's where we're going to see revolution in the world. Scorpio is the sign of death, transformation, and sex. And as you could guess, Pluto is Scorpio's ruling planet. Historically, it was Mars, so Pluto is its modern designation. So if we have revolution in sex, that's going to mean that when Pluto was in Scorpio, there were a lot of big changes in how we related to each other sexually. Scorpio also has to refer to the organs themselves. So besides the sexual act, at that time there were also changes in how you could make a baby. And nowadays, people of all orientations have access to make a baby. You can be a gay couple and hire a surrogate. You can be heterosexual and for whatever reason choose to not make a baby at home, to make it in a lab. And you can also be a lesbian couple and buy sperm. And just as a PSA, some people think that you have to have in vitro to conceive without a man, but there's something called intrauterine insemination, which is much cheaper. So not having a man involved does not necessarily mean in vitro, which is very expensive. All of this change. So, as Pluto moves through the different signs, where there's going to be this focus of change in the world, is going to keep changing, right? So we are now in this place in the world where there's all this Tradwife content coming about, and it's really scaring some of us because we think this is everything going backwards. This is women losing their freedom. This is going back to a day we don't want to go back to. But in astrology, we know everything happens in cycles. Us having gone so far forward for a time, it could be predicted that that time's gonna end, right? And one of my astrologer friends told me about how Pluto and Capricorn meant big changes in the way of what it means to be a man. Capricorn is the father figure in the zodiac. So at the time of Pluto and Capricorn, that was the time at which there were big changes in the economy, and it was much more difficult for a man to be a breadwinner as he traditionally was. Capricorn also has to do with tradition. So we are past Pluto in Scorpio, where we're having these big changes in how we were relating to each other sexually, and also how we were even physically able to use our sexual organs. We could use them in ways never before done. And then Pluto and Capricorn, where there were big changes in what it meant to be a man. There were more and more women doing the breadwinning. And now we are in Pluto in Aquarius. You could find attributions of Aquarius to talk about more potential revolution in the sexual world. But it could also very well be that other things are going to be coming up. And so we can look at astrology and know everything's going to be okay. If you are really perturbed by the rise in Tradwife content, it's gonna peak, it's gonna fall back down, just like all of these other trends throughout space and time. It's going to be okay. Now, I'm still a baby who is a Pluto in Scorpio, same as my husband. So even though this Pluto and Scorpio era has ended, where the Earth is where Pluto is no longer in Scorpio, as far as where the Earth is in space and time, that's what Pluto and Scorpio means is still going to be a major theme in both my own life and in my husband's life. I am a 4-planet Scorpio, so that's going to be intermingling with those energies too. And my husband is a Scorpio rising. So we would, even more so than people with other placements, be experiencing this wave of change in how we relate to each other sexually. And I really do feel like I myself am on the frontier. I don't know anyone else on YouTube who is relating feminine energy to LGBTQ issues the same way that I do. Don't know anyone else. I happen to be in a, for the clickbait, I call it a woke city, a very LGBTQ friendly city. I have friends with a variety of pronouns. I respect their pronouns. I have dated people with a variety of pronouns, and I think that's fine. And yet, I am mingling that with these ideas that are, co-opted by the Tradwives. They are not purely a traditional or a Christian thing, but I'm seeing how this thing that it seems like the whole rest of my culture associates with conservatives, how that can be useful to people who are not so conservative. And, being a pioneer, it can feel a little lonely. I don't know anyone else who is in my position, like intellectually, like thinking the exact same things I think. There's one woman I know in real life who is super into feminine energy, and unfortunately, she's super popular. Good for her. She's got so many friends, more friends than she can ever, manage to visit very often. And I'd love to see her more and talk to her more. But that doesn't happen. I don't know anyone else who's into feminine energy besides her. And I have these ideas I've found on the internet, again, thanks to my friend introducing me to some feminine energy teachers on YouTube. And I am in the midst of all these very 50-50 mindset friends that I feel could use it. But I myself am still even finding the words to figure out how I can say the things that I've learned to my friends and not offend them, and assure them that I do support their decisions with their gender. I am not expecting people to do things counter to their orientation, but at the same time, I think it's very hurtful for this message to be spread that if you have this orientation, you must be making all of your decisions perfectly in line with it, when that's not how anything in life works. Nothing is one-dimensional. There are always reasons to choose one thing over another. And as women, we are not yet even in a position where it might even make sense for us to make our decisions solely based off of our orientation.